frames. What a shame. This one. Just going through one of the papers, and it was about Stanford student killed while riding around the campus. Where is it? Anyway, there was an Italian restaurant, and ICE did a raid on it, and the neighbors like rallied around outside to like not let them take the person they came for. I guess the neighborhood knew the person and was like, this is a good person. I suppose they just need to do the asylum paperwork. I mean, if the entire neighborhood is around, like, defending, like, fighting off ICE agents, then maybe they just ought to, like, review the paperwork and see what was so bad about this person. No, it's not in here. I have a theory. I have a theory that well, I won't get into it at the moment. But like a person knows that a person from their country is legally in this country, then they can swap themselves. That's my theory. Yeah, I was watching Austin's on. I don't want to try to. He's watching ABC 7. Well, you can be there legally one day, and then they change policy or rules. This is a cool article. Silicon Valley is the future, and Detroit is the past. It's the thing about Detroit, Motor City, and Silicon Valley coming together. And what it doesn't say in here is who's liable when the software failure causes an accident. Oh. These people were sent to a black hole. Did Texas gang database error land this man in Salvador prison? Francisca Garcia Cacique, 24, Venezuelan national, worked as a barber in Texas before federal agents accused him of having gang ties and expelled him to a Salvadoran prison. His name appeared on a Texas gang database, but with the wrong photo. See, I've been doing, I have FBI wanted posters here, and I was like, wait a second, because I was like, look at him, and I'm like, why are they taking this dude in? I know where he is, and it's like, wait, it could be the wrong photo. Well, oftentimes it says different birthdays because they don't really know. According to DHS, federal officials at the I.C.E. Dallas office detained him February 29, 2024, quote, after being deemed a public safety threat as a confirmed member of the Tren de Aragua gang, unquote. His family, however, said Garcia Cacique missed an interview with ICE and visited the agency to try to re-enter the system when he was detained. As the real Garcia Cacique was locked up in an ICE detention facility in Alvarado, Texas, another man, also in federal custody, was interviewed by Dallas police detectives. It's unclear what the man told detectives, but a gang profile was uploaded into the database with Garcia Cacique's name and bearded man's photo, tying him to Tren de Aragua, since he admitted to strong knowledge, quote, admitted to strong knowledge, unquote, of the gang. Wait, so they found another man and put a bearded man's name in the database with his face? Oh, Garcia Cacique Senior. Makes sense now. I don't want to get lost in here. It's hard in California to make a stand on like pro ICE stuff. Well, we have so many in-laws, we have so many Mexican in-laws, it's just a headache now. No, they put in my no. I didn't know your family were gang members. Honey. What? What did you say, Austin? Never happened. It's never happened that American citizens unknowingly married a foreign spy. Well, I mean, just a foreign national. Somebody in the country who just needs to get married so they can like get permisos to stay here. How much did you know about your spouse before you eloped? I was just staring at this thing. I was just staring at this article, and now I pick up my stack of papers and I can't find it. Oh, there are my coupons. There's all the good deals at the stores if I had a vehicle to go to the stores with. Let's see what we have. DOJ to investigate California transgender athletes law. Do two transgender athletes law? Nah, it just seems clickbait. I don't have anything to do with friggin' sports or college sports or anything, so it doesn't really upset me that they're transgenders playing on like football teams and stuff or whatever they do. Ooh, never flinched. Let's Holly Gibney prove Stephen King's still got it. Oh, another book. Raising Cane's. This is a good one. This is like a full-on advertisement for going to vacation in Alaska. Okay, Garcia. Americans are awash in equity. Converting investment to cash can be daunting. Oh, you have some financial problems? Take out some home equity loans. Home equity sharing agreements. So I'm doing here in the article, skipping. For all those reasons, debt products aren't right for many homeowners. Jeff Glass founded HomeTap, one of several companies that offer what are sometimes called home equity investments or home equity sharing arrangements as a response. For many people, the idea of having to borrow more doesn't work, Glass said, and the idea of having to sell all of it or nothing seemed too binary to us. So we created a third option, which is this idea of selling some of it. Yeah, that's kind of caused a problem with my home situation. I was all ready to overpay for this place. I was going to do $300,000 cash for my investment portfolios. I needed the guy to work with me. I never even met my landlord. Probably because so much of it's owned by investment groups and pooled asset resources. So I have a pretty good well, suspicion or logical deduction that the garage doesn't come with the house, that they sold the garage off as a piece of something. Oh my goodness. Where is the fun article? Classifieds. Now I'm going to feel silly. The whole reason I jumped on here. Oh, here it is, right here. This is from San Francisco Chronicle, Thursday, June 5, 2025, by Sarah Libby. Lib's cognitive dissonance up close. Anti-ICE messages cover a poll on Monday at an Italian restaurant in San Diego that immigration agents raided. Oh wow! So they've been doing so this is like dates. This started Monday, so this has been a week-long effort. See, I'm watching to see if I can stream the. Let's see if my I can't actually tell what it looks like on your end. No, wait, where's the live? Oh, streamed 1 minute ago. He is on the ground in the fashion district. He can see what's going on. Carlos? Well, you can see actually what's going on behind me. A lot of confusion here. There's really very tense situation. You can see the Homeland Security, FBI agents right here on the floor. This is like this ended about a minute ago. Earlier this morning, apparently a raid by ICE here in a business called Inside, their agents were there pretty much most of the ambiance. So this place is called Bologna or Chet. When ICE agents in full tactical gear descended on a beloved restaurant in my San Diego neighborhood last Friday evening and seized one of the workers, my neighbors did exactly what I would have expected. They raised holy hell. A huge crowd gathered, booing. The Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents retreated as neighborhood residents screamed shame in unison. Videos of the scene quickly went viral. God bless the mostly middle-aged and elderly women confronting and shaming and sometimes even stopping ICE atrocities, journalist Clara Jeffrey wrote on Blue Sky. This triumphant moment of resistance is now being hailed by lawyers and activists across the country as a blueprint for how to push back against these brazen encroachments into communities. Meanwhile, just days later, and a few blocks away, an even larger crowd gathered in the neighborhood to target another potential enemy intrusion. Rather than winning social justice kudos, however, this protest demonstrated the often infuriating incoherence of California progressive politics. The evader in question? 2 proposed housing projects. One is a handful of large single-family homes abutting one of the canyons that snake through the neighborhood. The other is an 8-story, 180-unit apartment building located across the street from Charter School. Well, we do need more workers for all the jobs. Look at all these people who refuse to go to work. Look at all these people who are refusing to go to work. Like it's the middle of the daytime. It's Friday. They should be working. Instead, they're all. It's like that's why we need to build and bring in. You say Congress? Oh my goodness. Can it really be? Has Congress been replacing people like in Congress replacing? Have you met your congressperson? Have you met any politicians lately? Have any politicians come to where you are and say, I'm your elected representative? You'd be like, wait a second. Caravan of agents. say the Agent 00 of Twitch. FIBA. Oh, wait. Is this the Federale Institute Basketball Association or something? Okay. We'll take that on a break for a minute. I'm just, the curiosity is getting the better of me here. I remember I watched the Lebanon games. Oh. This is Argentina versus Puerto Rico. Wow. Wait, which one's which? Oh, this is like the... Man. Or Don Imus. This is... They're showing Don Imus right here. I don't remember Don Imus. Oh. See, he was one of those machistas, whatever my Spanish teacher called us. Is like... Oh wait, these are... Okay, that was just a preview or something. Advertisement. Sanchez. God. So which team is this? See. Well, this is, I think this is like an inauguration like season, or it's a startup league, I think. So basketball's going to take over from soccer as the world sport. So is this what C-Ram was doing? Working international relations. So, okay, so that Puerto Rico. So people in white uniform, white and red are Puerto Rico. And the... So are they in Argentina? Well, I officially watched more of the U16 America than I did the NBA Finals. I want to go back to the... Stay on the subject. What unfolded at this second protest? I don't want to read the entire article. And onto the sidewalk. Okay, Carlos, thank you very much. So Carlos at the scene of the ambiance. We're going to go to Annabelle Munoz now. She's at the Royal Federal Building where the people who were detained were then caravaned over. And as we understand it, there were two caravans taken there. Annabelle, what have you learned from the Federal Building?
Philip, we were actually initially here because of reports that people who were attending their immigration appointments were being detained in that federal building. One organization says more than 24 hours in some cases. We're still investigating that. But then we have heard that there
Oh,
are
Garcia, whatever that guy's name was.
making their way here to the federal building. And we saw several of them, and we've seen them in different instances around immigration courthouses with plates that say DHS and U.S. government on them. So several of those have entered that parking lot that you see here, and several have exited the building. A lot of this happening pretty quickly. In some instances, they have the sirens on. And right now, there's two officers that are posted out front of
Oh,
the
yeah.
parking lot. I don't believe that they were first here when we arrived. At some point, there was a car that pulled.
See, part of the description is why I ditched Twitter. I don't know how your memory works, your short-term, long-term, mid-memory. Twitter is just breaking news, and bookmarking things. I have like 86 on my cell phone when I go to the little internet icon and pop up. I have 86 pages load up. And I don't want to close them because they're really interesting and I won't remember. Like, what? Why do I have this one? And I look at it, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I'm charging my phone and I'm having problems because it's old, and so the connection is a little loose, and sometimes you put it on, it doesn't charge. I think it's charging now. Oh. Border Patrol needs warrants for arrests, judge rules. From a month ago. Oh no, wait, Border Patrol and ICE, are they the same thing? No, they aren't, are they? And yet, the federal judge in Fresno on Tuesday barred U.S. Border Patrol from making arrests in the Eastern District of California without a warrant, unless agents suspect a person will flee following a high-profile raid in Kern County in January. Unless they suspect so, I guess you just say we're afraid he's going to run away. A really marked preliminary legal win for the American Civil Liberties Union of Northern and Southern California and the United Farm Workers who sued the federal government in February. The lawsuit alleged the immigration enforcement operation violated federal law and the Fourth Amendment rights of 5 Kern County residents. United Farm Workers. See, there's been a thing for a long time that they only raid these places when the bosses are unhappy with their employees, and they call in, and then that way they can that way they can take all the farm workers away and not pay them. It's like right when it gets time to pay their employees, the ones that they've known were illegal the entire time. Then they call ICE, which is really interesting because that same employer who called ICE for them being illegal has for inspections and stuff, when things are good, a file, and all their workers have social security numbers. Whose social security numbers? I got a phone call the other day, automated, I get them a lot, letting me know I have $60,000 in unpaid taxes. And then they can help me. And like, oh, you must know the TurboTax or something. Because I'm a legal citizen. And I just turn my paperwork in, my social security things when I apply for jobs. And I get a W-2 because I work for corporations that do that type of stuff. And I was like, wow. So I'm estimated to owe $60,000 in taxes, which means I must have a paycheck someplace. Which means they're looking at my paycheck, but it doesn't come to my bank account. As far as I know, my bank account only goes down my savings, my checking, savings, everything, just because I have to pay money daily to live. monthly bills. I'm only paying bills. I don't have an income coming in. Now I have a bigger tax liability from 3 years ago, but they don't know that number. So they don't know all my investments. They only know the employer who's reporting as me being an employee. I wonder how many other people are sitting around and they're being reported by different. Well, you gotta get rid of that employee. They could the auditors might think it's fraud. Like I resigned. I was my last company. They asked me to go to the Horn of Africa, and I was like, and a lot of the guys I worked with were excited to go because that meant they could keep a job. Because jobs that pay well 150 basically have the skills of the cable guy. And how booming is the cable installer business these days? I a lot of the guys I work with, they talk about like how stressful they try to leave the job, but they can only get $10 an hour jobs. Go from 150,000 or 25, 150, 175, 200, 225, 250. Oh, it goes up. We're some of the lower paid ones at 125. You go from $300,000 a year to oh my goodness. Now that's assuming it's $10 an hour for a 40-hour work week. But a lot of people can't pick up that many hours. Yeah. I don't know if you can hear the audio. It's the friggin' Ethan Klein dude, age 3 something. Microdosing. I went to Costa Rica on an investigatory vacation before my brother had like real big problems, and I had heard on the Joe Rogan talking about ibogaine. And so there's a little retreat, and they had a real shaman from Gabon, and well, I was because they had their reports that it's really hard on the heart, and there are people would die of heart attacks and things. They had a series of deaths at these clinics, so I wanted to check it out and see if it would kill me. And I made it through all right. Then I sent my brother to Tijuana a few months later. Just one of those Hail Marys to get him off the opioids. And yet, can you get somebody off the poverty? I have a real hard time with the anxiety. Somebody was diagnosing her to be space sick. Somebody in chat was diagnosing her. She's on drugs. That's why she's shaking. She's on drugs. That's why she's shaking. I don't know if you ever seen some poor person who like doesn't like. What are they gonna be like? Cast on the streets in the morning and just oh my goodness. See, I wonder how many of these people are veterans. Veterans now they get to like ride around to a veteran doing military ops in a big city. That's why I like moving a little town. There's an influx of new people stemming from the burning down their $1 million homes in the Palisades. I mean, the wildfire that burned down their $1 million homes and they lost all that equity. Right when they were about to sell it too. Right when they were about to sell that house and take out all their equity, and then there's a fire and burned it down. What bad luck! Oh, look how many houses they have. Their cars and. Mm-hmm. spinning my wheels here. Could be doing some cleaning. Yet this whole thing got me all excited.
Quickly, and people were willing in that part of town down there in the Paxton District to mobilize very quickly and surround that and try to keep the agents from getting people out of that area. And they had a backup plan and they were ready to act in the event. So we are starting to see the federal agents mobilize here. Now, as you mentioned, it has been happening around the country. It is now happening here in LA. And this is the scene that you see here on the right. It does seem very orderly here on the right, and the fact that they knew what they were going to do. They came in, they quickly grabbed who they were going to grab, put them in the van, and were going to take them away. And then they were met with resistance. Oddly enough, Carly, not from the people being detained, but from the people in the community who did not want them to be detained. And then that's when the reinforcements came in to try to protect all of the parties involved, not only the officers but also the people who were being detained.
Yeah, and I also find it somewhat interesting to see law enforcement.
So I don't know if you listen, maybe been listening to radios and shows. There's a radio network called PRN, or a Progressive Radio Network. Maybe I got it wrong. It was the one that had the Tom Hartman show on another syndicated. It was like the liberal version of Clear Channel. They had Rush Limbaugh and some of the top names of conservative talk radio. Now they had a person, Diane Reeves, and she was talking about when Obama passed the Permiso program where they was like invite. Basically, the way they spun it is they invited a lot of people to come up, like just come to America, and like you have permission to come to America. And allegedly, they're told all these benefits that they would get when they came here. And Diane Reeves was just flabbergasted that Obama was opening the borders because there was such a thing where the new Americans, the immigrants were starting to take the benefits away from the ADOS community, the African descendants of slavery. And she was so upset Obama. She said, these people, they're gonna all be deported. It's gonna cause such hardship for all the Mexicans and illegals because then the American citizens will turn on them. So I don't know. Like my family out here. My little niece, she's like half Mexican, and she's so ashamed of it. She like calls herself an Indian. She dressed like an Indian because she's so embarrassed from all the discrimination against Mexicans. And like they're going after her family. And when all my best, wait, actually, my coworkers are. I don't do racial stuff. I get pulled into racial conversations. People always try to get mad, have me give an opinion, and I'm like, well, you have to get no. It's like you aren't being clear in your question. Yeah, you aren't being question. You aren't being clear. You have to. I don't know what framework you're coming from. Well, one of the things about leaving productive work and focusing on history, there was a time when they just made most of the people who've been living here illegal overnight. 1849. This area was just so full of Spanish speakers and gringos who came, and they like, well, okay, well, you're in Mexico now. And there are people living down all over the place. There's probably big ranches that had a border drawn over it. But 1849, oh my goodness, if you had a ranch that's on both sides of the Rio Grande. Just one day your ranges, there's a big border. You can't go to the other side of your ranch. Except that's not really the way it works. You don't know that there's a border until somebody comes and tells you. 2 years ago, I was down about 40 miles south of where I am, and in the hotel keeper was telling me, he was like, He said that's the new border. I'm like, what border? The Canadian border. How far south did they move the Commonwealth? Just an army of friggin' welfare people from Canada. That's the thing about the Mexicans who come. They don't really have a concept of all the entitlements. Even though you hear they're socialists or they have socialist revolutions or communist revolutions, they don't. From where I've been, they don't have the type of the infrastructure to deliver welfare. And yet, for the Canadians, I've hung out with Canadians. One thing, they're peace lovers. They oppose the evil United States government in their foreign policies, and they let everybody know that they're not Americans. They travel around with leaves on their backpacks, so that the people know that they're against war, like it's warmongers in the U.S. And then they're generous. They say come to Canada and get your benefits. So I don't know. I just don't know how Canadian economy works. Do they work? Of course they do. They have a lot of Possum Lodge. I watched the Red Brady show. They're good, wholesome people. And Canadian Bacon with John Candy, and I don't remember the rest of them. I just remember how weird it was. That doesn't look like the Canada I know. Yeah, the article that I began reading, it talks about these. It talks about that 180 unit apartment building and the other in the homes that they're going to block off access to a beautiful hiking canyon. Well, they're talking about like all the people that'll move in and they can walk their children across the street to the school. One opponent of the San Diego apartment project, a member of the Neighborhood Planning Commission, repeated the line cited by virtually all opponents of new housing that neighbors would support the project if it was, quote, actually affordable, unquote. Hmm. I don't know what kind of people they're paying to bring in here, but this is just a money grab, Richard Santini told the crowd. Affordable housing. Oh, so this has been week long.
So then that would lead me to wonder, when Colleen asked, what is Sherbluna, what is Chief McDonald thinking? I would be angry if this happened in my city and I didn't know. Is that a possibility?
Huh, if they're working with the sheriff and the chief, maybe they're going after warrants.
Yeah, that's always so disappointing, Bruce, because you do always think that law enforcement is when they have a family all in the quest to protect, but
one of those prison buses.
they're a big part of our society, and to make America great, actually great. The sort of fascistic America first slogan that Trump and, of course, the Republicans and conservatives in our country try to frame it as. And so, and on top of that, I was speaking about earlier, we have American citizens who aren't, especially recently, that came in legally, came in through the proper channels, and still got taken into custody. And so we have issues of like, where is the line? Where's the slippery slope of like, okay, well, especially without due process. Like the biggest issue we're having right now is without due process. It's like, well, are you a missing citizen? It's like first they came for, first they came for, first they came for immigrant, you came for this, it's going to be next.
Oh, the immigrant community. They don't know that which one of themselves is
That's rude. We can't.
Oh my goodness!
About and what a lot of
Hey, I'm about to be deported. Will you marry me?
for example,
But
the immigration courthouses, we're seeing that people's cases, for example, are being dismissed. They were in immigration removal proceedings, and then the government said they want to dismiss their case, and that makes them susceptible to what's known as expedited removal, which means they can't be deported without this hearing actually playing out. And so many are sounding the alarm, saying that due process is being done away with in the immigration system. Have you seen kind of these situations unfold? Do you see your role as a community member?
As being a member, bringing attention is a big part of it. In terms of bringing attention, even as small as social media, even as much as talking to your representative, but more importantly, being around if you can.
Assembly member Chris Ward, who represents the San Diego neighborhood, has written several pro-housing bills, said he is sensitive to community concerns over individual projects, and thinks there's value in residents airing them.
Fellow people who are marginalized, I would say, in terms of just showing up for number for protests or showing up for activists to get this and stop. I actually greatly advanced to the center because that was our attempt, at least as far as I understood, and East Hampton and San Diego, I put my car in front of the thing to try to stop the vans and try to crowd, what people do. But we got flashbangs. I have footage of me being pushed around by one of the officers. I have a face on my cell phone. Trying to do our best. What we can do is obviously we're outgunned. We're maybe not outnumbered, but there is obviously financial, millions of dollars going to just LAPD alone, one of the biggest funded police departments in the world. In fact, more to LAPD goes towards the LAPD more than it does to some actual countries' crimes. And so we're doing, we're on a back foot to a certain extent, but it doesn't mean we don't try. It doesn't mean we don't put the effort. It's not my ideas. We have the self-defense in the I.C.E. That's the company. The Community Self-Defense Coalition is somebody, there's a coalition, and it's a group that does try to help with that, not federally, obviously, and I work with other legislators to try to do the same thing, just trying to show up, trying to be in the community, trying to create numbers, and trying to stop. We've seen it around town, like megaphones, just trying to tell immigrants their rights, and trying to make sure they, trying to put our values on the line, because I think that's the price of freedom sometimes.
Thank you, Damien, for taking the time to speak with us and share your perspective on the situation that we're seeing. No, thank you. And yeah, I mean, this is kind of what we're seeing. I think Colleen and Philip, you may have touched on this as well, is what the community response has looked like in different cities around the country. We saw a big turnout, for example, in San Diego. We're expecting a rally here in downtown Los Angeles at 4:30. We know word is spreading about that here in downtown Los Angeles outside of the federal courthouse. So we will
4:30.
continue to monitor it.
Oh, it's 3.
I hope this happened just in the last few minutes as we've been conducting this interview. I haven't recently
I got some engagements tonight.
pulling in or out of this parking lot, but we definitely saw many of those earlier here this afternoon.
Okay, Annabelle, thank you very much. We are watching the live shot there on the right as some of the vehicles are starting to leave that staging area and going to various places. Let's go back to Carlos Grande. He is at the Fashion District where all of this began. Carlos, what have you got from the scene that we saw such activity earlier?
Produce space. Oh, it's a lease.
Absolutely. Well, it certainly changed a lot in just the last 30 minutes, 45 minutes, because after all the
Yeah, that probably used to be an ideal location to bring farm products in. Yeah, I think they've don't see a whole lot of farms there anymore.
It's called ambiance, and it's a wholesale business, and that's where apparently ICE agents, Homeland Security agents went in this morning into that business. They shut down the business. You could see through the glass doors that they were inside there with employees. Now, what happened next is what we're still trying to all figure out, but we have some video of the confrontation outside. And apparently, after the agents were inside, then they were trying to get out, but protesters and demonstrators had surrounded the building. Because of that, then other agents came in, and they brought in some armored vehicles, they brought in a lot of personnel, and they literally pushed all the protesters aside. There was pepper spray, and they were able to open up the gates. They brought in the vans and loaded up some of the people from inside that they were arresting, put them in those vans and taken them out. But again, it was a very tense situation, a lot of a big confrontation, a lot of confusion outside as all of this was happening. But then this operation took maybe about 20 minutes or so, and then they were able to get everybody outside the building, and they left. While they were leaving, the crowd was chasing, pursuing some of these Homeland Security agents down the street, yelling at them.
Oh
And
no.
then the agents, from what we heard, we were about a block and a half away, we could hear about 4 or 5 loud flashbangs, and that's huge. Usually,
Department of Homeland Security agents.
way to scare people, and that's what we heard. Very loud flashbangs. But again, there was a big confrontation in the street, a lot of tense situations.
I was trying to have a conversation
Hundreds of people
with someone about just not even ancient history, but anyway, Department of Homeland Security. It was created to like oversee the different departments, like the FBI and which other ones. I have to look at what all the agencies that they're trying to coordinate with. Here are my metrics again. What? The how many people are restreaming to the Casper stream? Am I working for Tim Pool? I guess that's what he pays. Nothing. Tim, you love America, right, Tim? You love America as much as Archie McPhee. Well, this is based on actual field research where they decipher the different calls and stuff that these little critters. That means he's excited. If you get your exotic monkey and he's excited, this means he wants a daisy banana. Oh, ah, and it's a danger. Alert. And fight. See, I keep forgetting to do these different streams. Got these old CDs. I loaded this up on one computer. It's Freedman's Bank Records. That's a big thing about what happens when somebody has a bank and they just like stop going. And you're like, there's a person, there's an account, and they just haven't showed up in like 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. So apparently, they like family tree people also look at the family tree records of banks. That's about all I have to say here. Just wanted to follow along on that really exciting ICE raid today. Apparently it's the Department of Homeland Security and the locals are just not having it. I hope my little town here, when they come to free up some housing. Well, if you notice, like the housing bills, I was watching the mayoral thing, and I don't know how well it uploaded. Well, there are people like they want a million houses. Well, if you bring in 1 million people a year, you need 1 million. Well, not they don't all need their own house. You still need houses. I'm sitting here like, unfortunately, my landlord has kind of left me alone with the text messages and stuff. And houses on the market. And the amount of money it would take for me to rent a U-Haul, have people load it for me. Like, I would need a lot of help moving. And then finding a place? Finding a place? Yeah, this is the economic consequences of the peace. See, I have old newspapers, and it talks about they had the same problem at the end of World War II, or at least like what they called it at the time. The World War, yeah, they probably made it the Second World War. However, they talk about where all these veterans are going to go. See, while the veterans have been overseas, I'm part of this. Most of the past 20 years, it's been overseas. When we were over there, they moved in a lot of people because the more cities that get blown up in war, the more refugees. So now we showed up and house refugees or house the monsters who are overseas blowing up their houses. Now I don't know if all refugees are here because of that reason. All I know is that boy oh boy, politicians can do math. Politicians can do math. Well, they can kind of do math. They can kind of do math, and they can also write bills. Yeah, for one veteran. Well, and this stream. care. The world's best healthcare for the world's best military. Amores puta. See, there's a movie. One of the big main characters he's a college professor, and he's been he's a homeless dude wandering around. They see, so they're talking the investor bros. They buy companies and they sue the companies, but they're owners of the companies. See, you're listening to the owners. You're listening to owners who like trash their own stores and stuff. He's learned from his mistakes. I mean, did you vote? Yo, did you vote for war? Did you vote for war and now the war's here and you're like hiding? Yeah. Yeah, he voted for war. He's pointing fingers. Well, not now. Now, the other question is, how much of their daily gains do they put aside for taxes? You have to calculate 35%. If you're losing money in the stock market, well, you can report those losses, I assume. But if you make money, unless you're a long-term holder, but if you're doing dailies, 35%. If you make $100, you owe $35 in taxes. Now, if you make $100 and you spending it, you like make it and you spend it, you still owe 35. Yeah, these are people who haven't been paying their taxes. Why is Sweden? Well, remember Swiss banking. This is all about Swiss banking. Oh my goodness. Disintegration of society. So wonderful.